Hey everyone, hope you're doing well out there. Today we're going to talk about the beer illness and the monkey poo. I have to use these funny words so I don't get banned like I got banned previously for my video about the face thingy. Can't use that word either or else I'll get flagged. In that video, you might not have seen it because it was banned, but I was talking about the micro, starts with a P, ends in astic, bits of pollution being sucked in because of the zero pressure of the face thingy, and it increases the pressure inhalation of these micro particles into the lungs, which can over a long period of time can look like long beer illness or the beer illness itself. So today we're going to do another science video here. There's this thing called the placebo effect, and there's also this thing called the nocebo effect. And it's rather powerful. It's based on the perception of our consciousness. Quite often in the medical studies, when they're testing new formulations of drugs or medications, the placebo effect is actually so powerful they have to include it in their study, in their experimental setup, because quite often it can actually destroy the results of the setup. And if you've never heard of it, the placebo effect is basically when you give a person a medication and they think it's the correct medication. They're not aware that it's a placebo, and there's various theories as to why this occurs in the human. Some people think it's the authority of the doctor and the trust of the person in the doctor that creates this placebo effect. Some people associate the success of the placebo effect with a calm state of being taken care of. There's a huge topic, of course, but it's a very powerful aspect of our consciousness and our conscious perceptions. And conversely, the nocebo effect is actually the opposite. Like if you tell, everybody knows like a hypochondriac type person. And the hypochondriac, they're always in this state of anxiety, thinking they have this, they have that, they have that. They see something on TV and they literally feel like they have it, and that's what the nocebo effect. And so with the beer illness and the monkey poo, of course, there is this physical infectious dynamic taking place. And if you've been following my reporting, it both the beer illness and the monkey poo do have origins with gain of function, what they call, in various labs in Ukraine and Wuhan, biogenetically engineered. And that's why we see so many of these, it never used to transfer to humans, but now it transfers to humans. Oh, of course, doctors are puzzled by this. But that doesn't normally happen in nature. But our people have been kind of normalized or inculcated by these types of disease outbreak movies to think that that's the case. It might be hard for some people to believe, of course. So with the beer illness as well as the monkey poo, there is this biological engineered component, this infectious component. But at the same time, there's this, infinite budget funding, advertising apparatus taking place in the government and the media, the global organizations like the WHO, the WEF, among many others. And so this type of repetitive psychological inundation is pretty much what they use in different types of advertisements to get people addicted to different products. And it has the same effect, this nocebo effect. So a lot of the people who are experiencing these illnesses are actually victims of this nocebo dynamic, and most people are not aware of this placebo effect and this nocebo effect, of course. But if you look into the medical literature, you'll see quickly that it's a rather powerful and an enigmatic effect that is extremely interesting. And of course, it goes back to the power of the mind to heal itself. And so this is just going in a little deeper into the kind of insidious nature of this advertising apparatus that we call television entertainment, because we've been, or a lot of people, of course, who are maybe not as well read or mentally developed, they will fall prey to this nocebo effect. And then the stress that takes over the body, well, actually, we already know this from the medical studies that are out there. When in a high state of stress, for instance, you have a person might have a higher propensity to develop cancer. And that's because the immune system gets depressed when you're in this state of stress. And what that's called, I did this in another video on the Consummate Observer. I believe it was about Kathy Griffin. And when you're in a state of stress, you go into the sympathetic nervous system. So we have two different nervous systems, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And the parasympathetic is the rebuilding, relaxation, digestion. The sympathetic is fight or flight, self-preservation. And so when we're being inundated with this high number of beer illness and monkey poo commercials, we'll start seeing it everywhere. Of course, for the beer illness, the symptoms, quote unquote, that we see on TV are like, fever, body aches, runny nose, sniffles. So of course, these symptoms are very common. Before this time period, these symptoms are extremely common, and at this time, these symptoms are very common. And so you have all these people getting these symptoms, watching the TV, and they're experiencing the nocebo effect, and they might actually have these symptoms, develop these symptoms, as strange as that might sound. But this is, again, getting back to the power of the mind and our conscious perceptions and how they interact with the placebo effect and the nocebo effect. And then they might go to the doctor and they'll be like, "Doctor, I have this." And then, okay, they administer this test that has a 50% failure rate, of course, which is also well known for the last 10 years, depending on how we use these testing modalities. It might sound controversial, but this information has been out there long before the beer illness propaganda or advertising. So it's kind of like a perfect storm that we should be aware of, and that's why I'm making this video for everyone today, in case you're not aware of it. So yeah, if you have any questions, shoot me a message, schedule an appointment. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Thank you.